Yeah. There were 250 people who came into the office? Wow.
Just to say goodbye.
Right.
And a lot of them came over and kissed me and were crying. I was crying too. After all, you know, this is something that I've built up for the last 60 years. And more than 60 years. And as a result, you know, it's something you don't forget.
This is all families from patients?
Huh?
Families of patients?
Yeah. Actually, while we were having this, she had this party there, 5 of my Italian patients walked in, 6 of them. It's a brother and 5 sisters. And they had an Italian band. And they played,
In the office?
danced, and they got...
Right. Right. The neighborhood was different than when you guys...
Oh, yeah. When I first opened up, it's totally different. We had the landlord I paid the last rent already.
I'm just going to close the door.
I paid the last rent at the beginning of February.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to Terry, he's the best tenant I ever had. Because he has a lot of property and he rents it out. I never complained. If there was a light bulb that we took care of, once there was something wrong with whatever electrician he had, he went and switched the lighting from my house, from my room, into the 3rd floor, 2nd floor. So there was lighting, all their lights were coming off of my electricity. Got that straightened out. But he did one thing that I felt was very wrong. We had a brand new furnace.
You had the same landlord the whole time?
No, this one's a new one, the last 2 years. But the other one had put in a brand new furnace. It was a wonderful furnace, but it supplied the whole building.
Right.
So he took it out, and he put in 2 electric furnaces, one for me and one for upstairs. And of course, my electric bill, of course, went way up.
Right.
So I don't have to worry about that now anymore.
Did you have any families which you treated like the grandparents and them?
5. I have 2 families with 5 generations.
5 generations.
Yeah.
Wow.
5 generations.
What was their names?
One is Johnson, black. Both of them were black.
And they lived there in Oakland?
One lived on Fraser, which is on the end of the street. The other one lived elsewhere. They came in. I delivered all their kids and their grandchildren.
Right.
It was a 5-generation deal. It was very, very satisfying to know that all these people, they loved me. They really loved me. And some of them still call me here.
Yeah.
And, which is fine. I don't mind. I have good memories. Memories you can't replace.
Right. Think it was going to be this way?
Huh?
You went to Pitt.
I went to Pitt. I went to undergrad. I went to Peabody High School. I went to Pitt undergraduate. Went to Pitt graduate. And then Uncle Sam said, "Come with me." So I went with him to the South Pacific.
You went to the Army with him?
Yeah, the Army said, So first I was in Alabama, where Barbara was born.
That was during which war?
For the Second World War.
That was during the Second World War.
Barbara was born there. It was funny. We were taking one day a walk on Shabbos, your mother and I, and suddenly she's got cramps. I says, "Let's go see the doctor." There was one obstetrician in the town, so we walked into his office. He says, "Well, she's not doing much, but let's put her in the hospital." And that night she went into real active labor, and we had so she's in the hospital, and I said to the nurse, "She's getting very active." "Well, we haven't been able to find a doctor." Couldn't get the hold of the doctor.
This was on an Army base? Or this was in the town?
No,
on the base?
on an Army base. So we took her into the hospital, and she said, and I said, "Call." I said she was getting very active, and I was checking her. I said, "Better call the anesthesia." They said, "We don't have an anesthetist." Oh, so I was at her head, and I gave her ether, and then I ran down to the foot of the bed, put on gloves, and the doctor walked in. He was wearing his riding boots. He was still carrying his, whatever they call the whip for the horse. And so I go back up on top.
This was an Army doctor?
No, he was a civilian doctor. He was the only obstetrician in town. So I get up on top and I'll give her more ether. He takes off his riding gloves and puts on surgical gloves. Didn't wash his hands or anything. And he delivers her. And she had a lot of pressure from the baby. So it was like the hemorrhoidal pressure. And I says to him, after she was delivered, I says, "What should she do about that?" So he says to me, and I'm just, remember, I had never practiced. He says, "What would you do, doctor?" I said, "I would put her in a sitz bath." So she sat in a warm tub, and never had a problem.
That's great. Wait, so you were in the Army as a doctor?
Sure. I started.
And where was Bobby when you were off in the Army?
Oh, I took her home to Pittsburgh because they were shipping me out. So I had this friend who was in the office. He was the warrant officer in charge of the camp office. So he got me a 10-day delay en route so I could take Bobby home. So I took her home with Barbara, and then I took her.
So they stayed by Bobby and Daddy?
They lived there. Lived on the second floor.
Of which area? This was in Oakland?
Yeah. They lived on the second floor. And I went to Van Dorn, Mississippi. That's where they shipped me to. And from there I went to Camp Stoneman in Pittsburgh, California. And then from there...
So before you went overseas?
I went overseas from there.
To where?
Finchhaven, New Guinea.
Oh wow.
And then I was there, going there. We were on a ship, an unescorted ship. And if you look in the water, you used to see the Japanese submarines. But we're about halfway there. They stopped our ship.
The Japs?
No,
Okay.
the Navy.
Oh, the Navy. Okay.
They was running, stopped our ship because they wanted to put us through the equatorial ceremony. That's going through when you get into the equator. Well, let me tell you, that was bad. I didn't get it too bad. Of course, they clipped your hair, they shaved all your hair, and but I was lucky. My commanding officer was right in front of me. They were so busy beating him that I was able to get by with a minimum of beating. He was beat so badly they put him in a hospital.
Wait, who did this?
The Navy. The Navy. And of course when I was
It
there,
was like a hazing, looks like?
yeah. And when I never forget, they made us walk 4 or 5 steps. And on top of the steps were 55-gallon drums of dyes. And they dunked us in the dyes. I don't know what colors they were, blue and red, whatever, any color you wanted.
What'd you do over there, overseas? Did you see
Well,
any?
I was supposed to run a ear, nose, and throat clinic. So I says to my colonel, no, he was a major then. I says to him, I don't know about this ears and nose. I just come out of medical school. He says, fake it. So I faked it for a couple months, and then a guy by the name of Leslie came in from Trinidad. He was a board certified ear, nose, and throat specialist. So he really taught me, because when I was shipped out again to the Philippines, I was in charge of an ear, nose, and throat clinic.
Mm. In those days, after medical school, did they have residency?
Yeah, they had residencies, but I never had a residency.
Because of the war?
Well, because they shipped me as soon as I finished my internship.
Oh.
They shipped me out.